Seduced and abandoned, seduced and abandoned. Holy crap, I get to sing a song now that I have the DVD. And look at it, it's fucking ugly. I mean, look at Don Vincenzo. I'm really getting sick of looking at this face. Yeah. Hello there, CriterioNate here. Welcome back from a sort of a week-long break. I hope the Eclipser took care of you guys while I was gone. I got a chance to see his reviews, and I'm mighty impressed. Wish I was watching that stuff, you know. Make me want to go get some Eclipse just watching his reviews. Anyway, number 350, Pietro Germi's Seduced and Abandoned. 1964, 117 minutes, black, white, moral, Italian, palpitation, subtitles, blah, 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 blah. Now, for those of you wondering, wait a minute, didn't he already review it, and why is he doing it in the 380s? Well, as you remember, I didn't have the DVD when I originally did the movie, and I just got really lost watching it on Filmstruck. I don't know what it was about watching it on Filmstruck, and I don't know if it was Filmstruck or just watching it, I didn't get it. And so I watched it again today, and I said that when I got the DVD, I would basically get rid of my old review, and this would be the definitive one. So if you have seen my old review, you're lucky because it's gone now. I've deleted the old review. And I only did that because we're still in the season of it, so it made sense that it's still relatively recent. You know, the old reviews, when I've redone, you know, the old ones and re-reviewed them, you know, I haven't deleted those because, you know, I feel like there's a good distance between the original review and my new review of them, to where, you know, they're sort of, the old review is sort of a curio and all that. But, you know, again, I just felt like I didn't get the movie, and I felt like, you know, it's still really recent, so I just said, you know what, get rid of the old review, and we'll make this the definitive one. So anyway, and you'll be happy to know I definitely liked this movie a lot more the second time around. It made a lot more sense and a lot funnier, and ended up giving a better rating. But anyway, plot. Let me spoil the whole plot for you here. Seduced and Abandoned, seduta y abbandonata. So, Peppino is engaged to, what's her name? Matilde. However, he lusts after her younger sister, Agnes, who is, I think, only 16. Peppino ends up running away, or like not coming by because of the as much because of the fact that, you know, they had this moment where they, you know, were in the throes of passion, and Agnes ends up, you know, confessing to the father, the father of their church. And anyway, Don Vincenzo, the father, is the head of the household. His sort of motto is honor and family, honor and family. He's very, very passionate about his family. And so, however, Agnes is holding this, like, you know, this pain inside of her because she feels guilty. She wants to just rid of him, rid of all her sins and all that. So one night she ends up confessing her love to, Peppino, or ends up like renouncing it, or, you know, just saying that, you know, I feel guilty for having a lustful moment with you, and please come by for Matilda's sake, because, you know, I'll never announce the shameful secret of our lust or something. And so she's writing in the bathroom, and her mom knocks on the door, and she ends up throwing the letter away. However, tearing it up and throwing it in the toilet and flushing it. However, Matilde ends up, her mother, what is her name? Amalia, I think? No, that's Amalia. That's Peppino's mother. What is her name? Francesca, I think. Francesca, or maybe that might be one of the sisters. Anyway, not a big deal. Anyway, so mother finds the letter, finds the bit that says the shameful secret of lust, knows that Agnes wrote it, and they find out, you know, and so Vincenzo's like, oh, no. So they force her to take a urine sample down to a doctor, or he takes a sample of her urine down to the doctor, and they find out that she's pregnant, and at first he doesn't know who the father is, but he puts two and two together on the train ride back and realizes that Peppino was there the night that it probably happened, because he was like in a drunken stupor or tired stupor. And he woke up and he broke over a glass, and he woke up his sister, his daughter, who's always sleeping. And so he goes to Peppino and he realizes that he did it. He basically knocked Agnes up. And so he forces her to write a renouncement of marriage to Matilda, and Matilda doesn't. However, he won't let Peppino tell Matilda. I don't even know how to pronounce their names. Matilda. I'm gonna use American names. How about that? He won't let Peppino tell Matilda that he had a thing with Agnes. We'll call her Agnes too. And so she's really confused. However, Vincenzo wants to make it right. So Vincenzo gets this baron who is penniless and is actually about to kill himself before Vincenzo comes in to marry Matilda. However, Matilda is a little disgusted by the fact that the baron is missing his three of his front teeth. And so he ends up, rushing out this emergency dental some dental work for him, and gets his choppers fixed. And so, Matilda's happy with the Baron for a while. However, but anyway, at the same time, Vincenzo ends up beating on Agnes because, he's trying to hide, and he ends up, he wants to make Peppino marry Agnes, because apparently back then there was a law, a really fucked up law, that's saying that, and it's stated, and I didn't realize this, I was reading the booklet here. Once upon a time, in a country of the old civilized Europe, an article of the civil code allowed a rapist to go free if the victim agreed to marry him. The wedding voided the crime. So basically, I think at one point Vincenzo thinks that if he can get Peppino to marry Agnes, then everything will be all right. However, Peppino doesn't want to marry Agnes because he denies having relationships with her and considers her not a virgin, but considers that declares she's not a virgin, but does not announce does not declare, that he denies having anything to do with her, basically. And of course, Agnes, is sort of like on the rocks about him, but but anyway, at one point, Peppino ends up, Vincenzo wants Peppino to marry her, and Peppino ends up running away and becoming a priest or a man of the church. Vincenzo is infuriated, so he ends up getting his son Antonio to kill. Basically, he wants him to kill Peppino, and Antonio ends up getting scared and ends up confessing that he's going to kill Peppino to both Matilda and Agnes. And so Agnes ends up breaking out of her room and telling the police what happens. And so she ends up sort of getting the upper hand. And this is the second time I'm watching it. I'm already starting to forget. So basically, and Antonio ends up chickening out, and ends up chickening out from doing it. And so anyway, it's basically, the movie is a satire on Italian customs and family back then. It's pretty biting. The whole idea is Vincenzo, the lengths that Vincenzo will go to make sure his family stays pure, or clean, and it's a little insane, a little crazy, but you know, I guess that was sort of the look, because the thing is, because he's always out in the town, and he, you know, I guess the townspeople really gossiped a lot, and so anyway, at one point, so toward the end of the movie, it looks like they end up like staging a kidnapping to make it look like, you know, Peppino and Agnes ran away together or something like that. So anyway, at one point, so Agnes and Peppino go to Vincenzo. Vincenzo asks for, Peppino asks for Vincenzo's forgiveness in front of the town. The town's watching, and so they end up going, and they end up, you know, they stage the marriage, they get the marriage all together, and however, when they go to the judge, who, you know, originally had, because originally they were suing, I think Peppino was suing Vincenzo, or vice versa, and so the judge, you know, is like, oh, okay, well, this is good, and that you guys are going to get married, so they're going to drop all the charges and all that, and the original charges, I think Antonio had charged for assault or something. So Peppino says, you know, yeah, I want to get married, and then he asks Agnes, and Agnes, you know, originally says yes, but she's shaking her head, yes, 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 you know, and he ends up biting Vincenzo's hand, and the judge sees this and realizes that there's something up with the marriage. You know, I'm not dropping the charges, and now Peppino's charged with kidnapping a minor. And by this point, at this point, the whole town now knows there's no, you know, hiding. You know, Vincenzo's gone through great lengths to try and hide the family's, you know, troubles from the whole town. Now the whole town knows. One person knows, and then they tell one person, and so on and so on and so on. Everybody, the whole town's gossiping, calling Agnes a whore, you know, and so Vincenzo. However, the wedding still goes on. Peppino and Agnes still get married, but by this point, Vincenzo, I think, is so stressed and sick that he ends up too sick to go to the wedding, and he's hooked up to like I forget what it's called, like an IV or something, like a oxygenator or something, and he ends up dying in his bed. And Agnes has this. The ending really confused me. I still don't get it. If anybody knows what's up with the ending, the hallucination where Agnes is running through the town, I still didn't understand that one bit. That was really, really confusing. And she wakes out of it, and at first I thought she was like kind of comatose, because at one point Antonio suffers the same thing where he's like almost speechless. He's rendered dumb, I guess, you know. And yeah, so it was a little confusing, but she ends up getting married to him, and Vincenzo ends up dying, and the Baron ends up killing himself, because the Baron ends up, you know, realizing that everything was going to plot, so he sees no reason why he should marry Matilda. Matilda ends up becoming a nun, and yeah, so that's basically it. And yeah, so anyway, the final scene shows Vincenzo's gravesite with his motto, honor and family, neither of which he has at the end of the movie. So again, it's a very, very funny movie. There are little bits. There are very small bits that are funny, such as the policeman who watch for who are looking for Peppino in the city when he runs away to the chapel or whatever, the church, and like his sidekick, or I forget, is like the sergeant or the police officer that's with him is like really incompetent. Like he can't type up he doesn't type up any of the confession or like any of the conversation that he has with Agnes at one point. And he tells him like, hey, and he asks, and the guy asks some people in the city, hey, where's the chapel of this? Where's the church? And then he says, and they don't talk to him. And he's like, they're not responding. And then the sergeant's like, yes, they're not responding. You know. So yeah, little bits. And there's a scene where Vincenzo and his wife go to bed, and they have the covers, and she turns over and she pulls the covers off of him, and yeah, I don't know, just little bits. But again, the whole movie in itself is just so ridiculous and crazy. Very much like Divorce Italian Style, the other Pietro Germi movie. Yeah, so that's so anyway. Again, my second time through, this movie is really, really good. I liked it a lot. I don't think I liked it enough to buy it. It's still really frustrating. And again, the ending still is a little bit confusing, but I picked up enough of it to say, hey, it's a satire. It's a crazy little, like kind of attack on family values and customs and honor, back in Italy back then. So anyway, so Seduced and Abandoned. Originally, I gave it a B- in my original review, but I'm upgrading that to an A-. This is, again, a really good movie. I don't remember what I gave Divorce Italian Style, but I think I definitely liked this one a little bit more. I think I gave Divorce Italian Style a B+ or B. So yeah, I definitely gave, definitely this is a good movie, and definitely an improvement over Divorce Italian Style. Although Divorce Italian Style makes a bit more sense, it's just a more simpler story. Not so many twists and turns as Seduced and Abandoned. But yeah, so anyway, that's all I've got. Seduced and Abandoned A-, and now we get to do the supplements, which aren't much, but still really pretty interesting. There's a Commedia all'Italiana, Germi Style, which is a 25-minute piece talking about Italian comedy and how Germi really was like in a style of his own compared to his other peers, such as the guy who did Big Deal on Madonna Street and things like that. There's an interview with the screenwriters Furio Scarpelli and Luciano Vincenzoni, and Italian film scholar Mario Sesti. And then there's also a 6-minute interview with Stefania Sandrelli, who played Agnes. And there's also an interview with Lando Buscanza, who played Antonio. And so, yeah, and they talk about working with... and their interviews are probably the most interesting, because they have fond memories of working with him and all that good stuff. So, and there's also... Stefania Sandrelli screen test, and then the trailer, and which tells basically the whole story, so you barely have to watch it. And yeah, that's it. So Seduced and Abandoned, A-, good stuff. So that's it for today. Tomorrow, well, we got Criterion for this week. We got some Criterion. We got tomorrow. We are going to do the supplements too, or maybe later today. We may do the supplements for Border Radio. We're just going to do the supplements for this one, and then if I do the Border Radio later today, then tomorrow night we'll do Overlord. Although we're probably going to do Border Radio tomorrow night, so which means that we'll do Wednesday. We'll have Overlord and Brute Force. Thursday, Vengeance is Mine. Friday, Army of Shadows. And yeah, and then next week I'm actually taking the week off. I'm going to take a week off and just a little vacation. And then the week after that, we're going to do I believe I'm actually going to take that week off too. And the Eclipser will be in, and he'll be doing the documentaries of Louis Malle set. So look forward to that. And yeah, so anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching. Don't kill your sister's fiance. I don't know, don't sleep with and don't have sex with your sister, with your fiance's sister. Don't do that either. And yeah, so anyway, that's for me. Thank you for watching. I'm sure I can't remember my old morals, but anyway, that's good enough for me. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching, and we will probably see you tomorrow for the supplements to Border Radio. And until then, goodbye.